Today, I'd like to let you know this is the webinar put on by the Aging Information Subcommittee. And today we're going to be talking about helping older adults with fall prevention. And we have three speakers this morning. We have Pat Brannon, who's a wellness trainer for the Area Agency on Aging 1B. He's been doing that for quite a while, and she has done various training sessions for people, helping people that are using canes and trying to get around with the issues as we get older. Second speaker is Janine Roach, and she's the manager of health promotion with Area Agency on Aging 1B, arranging and coordinating health and wellness educations to older adults and adults with a disability and caregivers throughout the Area Agency on Aging 1B. That's tough to say. The service for the region. And the third speaker is one of our NCRO members and is on the Aging Subcommittee, Kanu Mehta. He retired from Chrysler back in 2007, worked in engineering and international business development, and is currently the primary caregiver for his wife in her struggle with Alzheimer's. And the three of them are going to be giving us our presentation this morning. So with that, I think we start with Janine.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us present today. We're very excited to talk about this really important topic as we age, and that is fall prevention. As mentioned, I'm Janine Roach. I work with the Area Agency on Aging 1B as the Manager of Health Promotion, and I am here today to present with my colleague, Pat Brannon. Helping older adults, people with disabilities, and their families is exactly what we do at the Area Agency on Aging 1B. We help people to access services and programs they need to live independently and with dignity in their home or with family caregivers. And I am hearing a little bit of an echo. If everyone could mute themselves. Okay, thank you. That's much better. So we help older adults to live independently and with dignity in their home or with family caregivers. We receive federal and state funding that is allocated to serve older adults and family caregivers throughout our 6 counties that we serve in Southeast Michigan. And those counties include Livingston, Macomb, Monroe, Oakland, St. Clair, and Washtenaw counties. Some of our services we offer directly, but other services we partner with community organizations that help us to deliver services to seniors. So together with our community partners, we have a really strong local network of support, resources, and services to help older adults within our region. Some of the programs that we offer and have access to our information and assistance telephone line that helps people to find different local resources that are available. We support Meals on Wheels programs that help homebound seniors to have a hot meal and friendly visits from volunteers on a regular basis. We help with direct home care services and care coordination to help seniors who are having trouble caring for themselves. We work with adult daycare centers and services. We work with Medicare and Medicaid assistance programs to help beneficiaries troubleshoot any problems and better understand their options. I'll talk a little bit about this later on in our presentation, but we help to service programs called chore and home injury control, which help seniors to maintain their homes and keep them safe. We do a lot of advocacy at our agency to help make sure that seniors' voices are heard. We help with transportation assistance, legal services, services that help to support grandparents who are raising their grandchildren. And what we really want to focus on today is our health and wellness education that we offer to help older adults stay healthy. This is Pat and I's expertise area, so we are excited to get to it and talk a little bit about fall prevention. I do just want to note, if you're listening in today from outside of our service region, it's good to know that there's an area agency on aging that serves every county within Michigan as well as across the United States. Many of these area agencies on aging offer similar programming and services. So here are our topics of discussion for today. We'll talk a little bit about the common myths about falling. We'll talk about the fear of falling itself, discuss physical activity that will help with better balance. We'll talk about some simple modifications that you can make to help with fall prevention. And then we want to touch on our major fall prevention educational class that we offer through the agency, as well as some other health education workshops that we offer. And then we'll have some time for question and answer at the end of our presentation. People often think that falls are just a normal part of aging, but the truth is they are not, and most falls can be prevented. Each of us really does have the power to prevent a fall from happening. Doing things like exercising and managing your medications, making sure that you're getting your vision checked, making sure that your living environment is safe, those are all great steps that you can take to help prevent a fall. To promote greater awareness and understanding, here are 10 common myths as well as the reality about older adult falls. Myth number 1, falling happens to other people, it's not going to happen to me. Obviously, that's a myth. Many people think it's not going to happen to me, but the truth is that 1 in 4 older adults will fall every year in the United States. Myth number 2, falling is something normal that happens as you get older. No, not true. Falling is not a normal part of aging. Strength and balance exercises, again, managing your medication, getting your vision checked, making your living environment safer, those are all steps that you can take to prevent a fall. Myth number 3, if I limit my activity, I won't fall. Some people believe that the best way to prevent falls is just to stay at home and limit your activity. Well, that's not going to do anything good for you. Performing physical activity is going to help you stay independent as your strength and your range of motion benefit from remaining active. Social activities are also good for your overall health. Myth number 4, as long as I stay home, I can avoid falling. Well, the reality here is that over half of all falls actually take place in the home. So be sure you're inspecting your home for fall risks. For some simple but serious hazards, you want to be sure that you're checking your clutter, your throw rugs, your lighting, making sure that those are all in good shape. Making those simple modifications like adding a grab bar in the bathroom, a handrail on your stairs, even adding things like non-slip paint to your outdoor steps can make a big difference. Myth number 5, I can't regain muscle strength and flexibility. While we do lose some muscle as we age, exercise can partially restore our strength and our flexibility. It's never, never, never too late to start an exercise program. Even if you feel like you've been a couch potato for too long, becoming active now is going to benefit you in many ways, including protecting you from falls. Whoops. Myth number 6 here, taking medication doesn't increase my risk of falling. The reality is that taking any medication may increase your risk of falling. Medications affect people in many different ways and sometimes can make you feel dizzy or sleepy, so be careful when you're starting a new medication. Be sure that you're talking with your healthcare provider about any potential side effects or any interactions of your medications. Myth number 7, I don't need to get my vision checked every year. Well, we've touched on this already. Vision is a key risk factor for falls, and aging is associated with some forms of vision loss that can increase your risk of fall and injury. People who have vision problems are more than twice as likely to fall as those without visual impairment. So having your eyes checked at least once a year and updating your eyeglasses or contacts can really help you to reduce your risk. For those with low vision, there are programs and assistive devices that can help. Talk with your optometrist for a referral. Myth number 8, using a walker or a cane will make me more dependent. The reality with this one is that walking aids are very important in helping many older adults maintain or improve their mobility. However, you want to make sure that you're using those devices safely and correctly. So a good idea is to have those checked out by maybe a physical therapist to make sure that they fit you properly and that you're using them properly. Myth number 9, I don't need to talk to my family members or my healthcare provider if I'm concerned about my risk of falling. I don't want to alarm them, and I want to keep my independence. Well, the reality here is that fall prevention is a team effort. Bring it up with your doctor, bring it up with your family and anyone else who is in a position to help you. They do want to help you to maintain your mobility and reduce your risk of falling. And last but certainly not least, myth number 10, I don't need to talk with my parent, spouse, or other older adult if I'm concerned about falling or their risk of falling. It's going to hurt their feelings and it's none of my business. Well, again, you do want to let them know about your concerns, offer support to help, and help them maintain the highest degree of independence that's possible. There's many things that you can do. Help them remove hazards in the home, help them to install features like, a grab bar or a walk-in bathtub. Maybe help them find a fall prevention program in the community like we'll talk about later. Help them get a vision exam set up. So if you're interested in learning some more about these myths and realities of fall, this information did come from the National Council on Aging.org/falls prevention. So let's talk a little bit next about the fear of falling itself. Do you have a fear of falling? What are you most fearful of? Think about that for just a second. I think a lot of us probably have a fear of falling or a fear of a loved one falling. And so, sometimes we just want to stay sheltered and kind of close off so that, we don't put that risk in front of us or take any chances. While most falls are preventable, sometimes we just need to change our mindset and the way that we think about falls in order to help us prevent them from happening. So I like to call this getting rid of our stinking thinking, getting rid of that negative thinking that we have. And actually, the more technical term for this is cognitive restructuring. But when we become so cautious that we stop taking any sort of risk, it can start to imprison us. And we might say something to ourselves like, I can't protect myself from a fall, so I better just not do anything today. That conversation might sound a little bit familiar to you. You might say something like, I don't want to inconvenience anyone by just asking for help. Let's just say that you want to go visit your daughter and have dinner with her and her family. You might say, it's going to be an inconvenience if I have to ask someone to help me get up the 10 stairs on her front porch, so I'm just not going to go because I'm fearful of falling down those stairs. Well, what we need to do is challenge ourselves here. We have to recognize that these things that we say to ourselves can be unhealthy and unhelpful, and we need to replace those with more constructive thoughts and ideas. Let's say we tell ourselves, oh, I'm feeling a bit nervous about taking those steps at my daughter's house, but I've never fallen down them before, and I have taken a lot of stairs in my lifetime. I think I can do this. I'd really like to see my daughter and her family, and I'll be so lonely and sad if I miss out on this opportunity. I could just ask my daughter to give me a hand while I take the steps at her house. This might feel a little bit embarrassing to me, but it's going to be worse if I have to just stay at home and not get this chance to visit with them. So by changing the way that we think about situations, we can keep that fear of falling from calling the shots, and this will help us to find some solutions to our problems. So I'm going to toss it over to Pat next to talk a little bit about some facts about falling.
So as you can see on your screen, they're talking about older adults, and let's face it, they call us older adults. We're talking about people that are 65 and over. And that's when the party starts, in my opinion, when you get your Medicare and the party starts. We got a long time to live. We want to stay upright and enjoy family and friends. But millions will fall each year. That's 1 out of 4 individuals each year. And as you grow, it grows exponentially as you age, because 1 in 3 when you turn 75. And then 1 out of 5 will cause some serious injuries like broken bones or head injury. Many falls do include those injuries. Like I said, 1 in 5 does cause that. And there's the NCOA says that 2.5 million of us will fall each year. So 1 in 5, that's 500,000. 500,000 people are going to be seriously injured. Death, and that's the leading cause of injury in the United States is from falls. So we have to be careful and be mindful of that. Research has found many conditions that contribute to falling. They include the risk factors. It includes lower body weakness, a vitamin D deficiency, difficulties with your walking and your balance. If your gait is off when you walk, it adversely affects other muscles. I explain that a little bit later. And it just complicates things and make it more and more difficult to keep your balance. Vision problems, foot pain or poor footwear, and some hazards and dangers like in the home Janine talked about. And you see there's a resource down there. You click on that resource. So that's your facts about falls. In our next slide, they asked my personal story and experience. I'd like to consider this a tribute to the Area Agency on Aging 1B, who literally saved my life and changed my course of my life forever. 15 years ago, I suffered an acute stroke at a stressful, because I was an entrepreneur. I was on a stressful phone call outside my office, smoking cigarettes. Well, prior to that point, I was enjoying a healthy lifestyle with a great diet. It was called the F diet. I typically ate fast foods, fatty foods, and fried foods. So all that cholesterol kind of built up in my carotid artery, and that nicotine restricts arteries. So I had a clot go into my brain, and it left me with hemiparesis. Left side of my body doesn't function properly. So now I've always been kind of a go-getter. So I was really on board for the physical exercise they gave me and the physical therapy. And I tried very hard for 18 months. And I was visiting my rehab doctor, and he looked at me and said, "Mr. Brown, at this point, we don't anticipate any more functional gain." At which point I went home, became severely depressed, bought a bigger screen TV, a nice new lazy boy chair, and proceeded to sit there for a year and a half. And the only muscle exercise was that clicker on the TV while I was in the dark watching reruns of Law and Order. So my life was going down the drain, and my wife decided she was going to drag me to a workshop offered by the A1B called Living a Healthy Life with Chronic Conditions. 6 weeks. By the 4th week, I started to embrace the tools they were giving me, just to make small changes in my life to improve things. Just drinking more water, something simple, maybe taking a few more steps each day, but building on successes, and it changed my life. Ultimately became a leader of the program, and other programs they gave me to lead. I enjoyed it, and it made me healthier and happier, until they said, "Let's do matter of balance. You think you could train that?" So I took my cane and I managed to get up to the classroom, had the wheelchair in the back seat just in case, and always had those carts at the grocery store, so I made sure I got around pretty good. But I started coding this class and doing the exercises they show in the matter of balance class, started improving my balance. I got better and better, and over the years, 7 years later, it's remarkable the change, and it's one of the best classes I love teaching. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So let's look at some of the next slide. When we're talking about balance, this slide says physical activity is for better balance. And there's 4 types. There's endurance, there's flexibility, there's balance, and there's strength. Now, over the years, I've trained in I do all these things. Endurance is those cardiovascular things you do, the things, aerobics things. When you move your rhythmical, when you're dancing, you're swimming, you're walking, you're jogging, those kind of things. I'll be getting my endurance activity this evening when we go down to the Summit Center here in Canton, Michigan, for my Latin dance class, and I especially like the rumba. Friday nights, I went to Schoolcraft College for another Latin dance class, and they're doing the rumba in that one too, so I really love the rumba. And the thing about that is you turn the music at home so you can dance on Monday nights. So you get 3 nights a week of endurance activities. Flexibility, move all day long, into the dishwasher, out of the dishwasher, get the laundry, move the laundry, stretch and move all the time. Flexibility, you can kind of think of a marionette. You have to have your hips flexible, you have to have your ankles flexible. So exercise for that, just do like you're doing the hula hoop, but keep your shoulders straight and move those hips. Especially good for Latin dance, a little bit of hip action. Latin dance is always great. So you got to move your hips and your ankles. On that long flight, get that leg up, turn that ankle, do those foot circles, go forward, go backwards, point them up and down, hold that leg up, get some strength in those legs. So that's for strength. You want to get strength in your body. And one of the risk factors for falls is, can we see this? They keep you independent to prevent any other falls. Strong legs is always an indicator of weakness. Weakness in legs is a physical risk factor for falls. So as a matter, we're going to show you an exercise now. The point is you have to start where you're at now and know to yourself that you can get better with time. So let me just demonstrate a little exercise here for you. So what we want to do is we talk about strength, flexibility. Flexibility, get down, touch those toes, move around, get the flexibility going. Get some flexibility here in your hips, keep those shoulders straight. And they talk about balance. So, they say if you can stand your one foot for 20 seconds, you have good balance. My left foot, I can't say 2 seconds because I have the hemi priest on this side of my body. So how do you resolve that? Get strong on the right side. So I learned how to stand on 1 foot on the right side. So, okay, that's good for balance. How about strength? Get your dumbbell here, move around. So do this. I do this, I'm standing there, got the toaster going, I'm waiting for my coffee to brew. I did the other day straight pudding. Of course, I didn't have this in my hand. So the point is, you can work on that. So by embracing those exercises in your life, slowly but surely, you can get better. So now some mobility aids and equipment. The first one on the left, you see this little blue circle here? That sits in your car seat and it swivels. I want to share with you a story. I was teaching a matter of balance class at a senior center, and a young lady was going to be 100 years old, like 2 weeks after the 8-week program was going to be over. And she said she had broken her femur. She broke her femur a year ago, and the doctor told us that she was older, it might take 18 months to heal. And she said to me, I'm looking forward to the day that my son doesn't have to grab my leg and help me in the car. And the whole point of the story is she didn't say, I'm 100, my leg's broke, I'm done. She didn't say, I pray that my leg's going to heal. She goes, give me your prayer. She said, I'm looking forward, because she knew it was going to get better. You have to have that mindset. But that little cushion there, if you have a difficulty getting in the car, you sit and it swivels. So you get your butt in there and it swivels. On the right hand side, some people suffer with drop foot, but they can't lift their toes. It's just a little strap and a hand. Difficult with a stroke patient because your left side, I couldn't do it by left hand, so you have to cross over, which is impractical. But it can work for some people that have some strength in their arms to help bring their leg up. And I'll turn it over to Janine. She'll explain the next couple.
Okay, so the next picture, the third picture here are some water wings. So not only are those used for floating in the pool, but they can be helpful to reduce pressure on any injured area. So if you've got like a bad knee and you can't put pressure on it, or maybe you just had surgery recently, but you've got to get it down on the floor, just inflating one of those floaties about halfway just below your knee, and then kneeling down on that will take the pressure eliminate the pressure while you're resting on the float, and your injured area or area is not putting pressure on the ground. The fourth picture here on the far right is a car assist handle. And this is a really unique device because it connects to the latch on your door to help you get into a vehicle a little easier, similar to if you were using a cane. The other neat thing about this is that it also is a safety device. It can actually break through a window, cut your car seat in the event that you need to escape if you're in an accident or something like that. So these are some cool, interesting mobility aids and equipment that we don't commonly think about that can help us to get from one place to the next. Some more common ones are like the walker, cane, crutches, prosthetics, orthotics, all things that will help us to get around easier. So next we have some additional modifications to help you prevent falls. And Pat, you want to talk a little bit about the stool? I know you've mentioned you used that in the past. Oh. I'll go ahead and explain. So there's some different tools that can help us to do things that we enjoy doing or that we need to do in our everyday lives. So these are just a couple of modifications and tools that we can use. So that gardening stool.
Right, now you notice that gardening stool, can you hear me now, Janine?
Yep, I can hear you. Yeah.
I had my mute. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
In any case, that garden stool is upside down. You can sit in that garden stool in your garden if you like, but if you flip it over, you see that padded there. You can bend down on your knees and get in that flower bed and pull those weeds, get them by the root if you can, and you can use that in your garden or for putting tulip bulbs in, whatever you want to do. I can get on the ground, off the ground, no problem. The point is your knees soaking wet and you wear out your pants. So I use that garden stool every summer. So looking forward for this summer. But down the left-hand side at the bottom, you see a recumbent bike. I also have a recumbent, it's not this particular model. If you've been to therapy and been in the new step machine where you just pump your legs, you lay back kind of, it's kind of the same principle. And mine folds up and I put in the back of my SUV and take to the park and have great fun with my recumbent bike. It's good for strengthening your legs. So it's a great, great activity. I do it all through the neighborhood. And I'll let Janine tell you about the other devices.
Wonderful. So next to the garden stool, the green stool, there is a step stool that has a nice handle on it. Looks pretty sturdy, but that can be really helpful to get to those items that are up in a high reaching cupboard and provide a little bit of stability and something for us to hang on to. It's important that whenever we're using a step stool that it's sturdy and not going to break on us or not pose as more of a hazard than it needs to be. To the right of that, we've got some shoe spikes that can be really helpful in the winter here. Help us to grip better to the snow and ice. And I have not tried these out myself, but I have been hearing more and more about them every winter, that people think that they are a really good tool to have. They just simply slip right over at the bottom of your shoes. And then let's see, the last but not least are the grab bars that are in this shower tub. They can create a safer bathing environment and an overall better experience for seniors to help prevent some falls in the bathroom. It's recommended that adding grab bars inside and outside of the tub or shower and next to the toilet can be very helpful. So I'm going to toss it over now to KC to talk a little bit about some modifications that he has made in his home for his wife, and he will share some information about that with you.
Okay, thank you, Janine. As Dale mentioned, my wife has dementia, Alzheimer's type, for last 10 years. And as the disease progresses, there are propensity for fall. And I'm going to just talk about what I have done to prevent, falls for her. And, the myth number one was the falling happens to others and not me. So what I've done for her, indirectly, it has helped me also to prevent my falls. So the screen on the left side um, uh, is a ramp I built in the garage, or rather my son-in-law, built it in the garage about 3 years ago. So my wife on a nice summer day, she would go out in a wheelchair with a caregiver in the neighborhood or in the park. So we can, have her sit in the wheelchair inside the house, go down the ramp, out of the garage, and into the car with the wheelchair and everything. Or on the days when she's not using the wheelchair, then she can walk down the ramp. There is a grab bar also, and the bottom of the ramp, it lines up with the SUV we have, and I park the front of the SUV towards the garage door, so the passenger side door just comes at the foot of the ramp, and she gets off the ramp and into the car very safely. So that has helped us quite a bit. On the photo on the right, we have a sunken family room. The carpeted area is about 6 inches below the foyer with the hardwood floor. And there was also, she used to use wheelchair inside the house when she had ankle injury about 4 years ago. So that became very handy to move her, inside the house in different rooms. So that ramp we have used for a number of years. And what happens in any situation, what could be good or what could prevent fall at one time, some new situation could arise, and you have to make sure that you take care of the new situations. So can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so the big ramp you saw in the earlier photo, now she's not navigating between the two rooms, but she does walk in the carpeted area in the evening. So what I've done was I built a hinge small ramp. You can buy the ramp which are aluminum or something, and I could have bought that, but I decided to just build one myself. So photo on the right is the ramp with the down, and then when she's walking in the carpeted area by herself, I put that ramp up. And just to keep the ramp in a position, I just use bungee cord with 2 hooks, and I put a little drill hole into the ramp, bottom of the ramp, and it retains the ramp. So this way, she can negotiate a step down and up, as well as she's very safe in the carpeted area walking. Next slide, please. Now, as Janine mentioned in the last photograph, she showed that, the grab bar in the bathroom. So now my wife used to have shower while she was standing up, but a time came where she could not stand in the shower. So I bought this chair. Again, this chair indirectly is for her safety, but also it prevents indirectly falls. So what happens is on the picture A, she would sit on the chair. Then in picture B, we would rotate the seat 90 degrees. The seat has a 360-degree rotation, but we rotate 90 degrees. And then in photo C, we push the seat inside about 20 inches, so she's inside the shower stall. And then she gets a shower, a caregiver or I give her a shower, and we pull the chair out, and she's, she gets up from the chair, so it's very safe, giving her shower. Next slide, please. So okay, now falls do happen. So now in my wife's situation, she has fallen, and then I say, okay, if she falls, what can I do to minimize injury? So she has a hip pad, which basically a motorcyclist, they wear those hip pads. So I put the hip pad on her, and I put a LaCroix, the goalie cap. So in case she falls, at least, her head injury will be minimized. So that's another thing one can do, if the propensity of, it sounds very weird or awkward to, wear this gears inside the house, but the consequences of falling and getting injury is much worse than, what it may look like. And the next slide, Janine mentioned that, getting in and out of the shower stall is very important. So to get into the shower, most of us have to negotiate the threshold, which is like 6 inches from the floor, and that's where a lot of falls happen. So what I've done here is I put vertical grab bars. on both sides. So getting in or getting out of the shower, you can grab those bars. And it so happens these grab bars are used in 18-wheeler, cargo trucks. If they're half full, they prevent shifting the cargo. So they put these grab bars horizontal inside the truck. And when I saw that, I said, hey, I could use those, as a vertical grab bar in the house. And they're a ratcheting type, so it can accommodate like 8 foot to 10 foot worth, the ceiling height. Next slide. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Those are some good tips, good tools. So next, just to kind of keep the conversation going about home modifications, there is a really great resource that we often refer to in the program that Pat had mentioned called A Matter of Balance, which is our 8-week fall prevention program. There's so much information covered on the topic of fall prevention that we just couldn't fit into a 1-hour session today. But I encourage you to take a look at this home safety checklist. This is put out through the CDC, and I will just sort of briefly open this up. I hope that this, can you confirm that you can see my new screen that I'm sharing, Casey or Pat? The Check for Safety Home Prevention Checklist.
We can see it.
Okay, thank you. So this is a really great tool to take and walk around your home to check your environments and check for hazards that might be there. So start by just looking at the floors in each room. Is there a clear walkway? Are you having to walk around furniture? Do you have throw rugs on your floor that are not secured that you could trip over easily? Is there good lighting to and from where you need to get? Are there cords on the floor that could be a trip hazard? Taking a look at your steps and your stairs, making sure that there are not things piled on the stairs that you could trip over. Are the steps even? Are they broken and need to be fixed? Do you have good lighting in your stairways? Do you need to fix some carpeting or torn carpeting? Are the handrails loose or broken? Looking at your kitchen, are there things that you use often that are up in those higher cabinets that maybe you could just do a little bit of swapping and put those at a lower level, and that wouldn't be so troublesome for you to have to try and get them on a regular basis? Are you using a step stool, but your step stool is unsteady? Is it time to replace it? Looking at your bathrooms again, is the floor slippery? Could you add some mats? Could you add some grab bars to help you get out of the shower or up from the toilet? And then looking at your bedroom, is the lighting near your bed? Is it hard to reach? Think about when we're getting up in the middle of the night, do we have a clear pathway to the bathroom? Do we need to add a night light or get some things out of our way so that we're not tripping and falling in the dark? So again, just some other things that you can do to help you prevent falls. The key things here are exercising regularly, talking with your doctor, getting your vision checked, getting up slowly, wearing shoes that aren't going to pose as a slip hazard, that have a good grip on them, improving your lighting. I think this is a good tip here. Paint a contrasting color on the top edge of all the steps so that you can see the stairs better. For example, use a light color paint on dark wood. So again, this checklist is available on the CDC website, and we can definitely get you the link to that. Take it, walk through your home and see what you can do to make things better. So back to our slides here. I just wanted to talk a little bit more about some of the programs that we offer, programs and services we offer through the Area Agency on Aging that can help with some of these modifications. So we fund some of the home injury control programming, and they will come into the home and do some restorative home repairs. They'll help to enhance your lighting. They will bring in ramps if needed. They can supply bathroom chairs, grab bars, non-slip treatments. They can help with vision or hearing devices. They can help with handrails. And these are generally low-cost community programs that are available to you. The other program is called the chore programs, and they provide household maintenance tasks that can help to increase safety for individuals living in their residence. Some of the things that they can help with are to replace fuses and light bulbs and electrical plugs, replace door locks, repair pipes, replace faucets, install safety equipment again, like handheld shower heads, bed rails, things like that. They can caulk windows, they can repair furniture. So a lot of great things that they can help to do to keep you safe and living within your home. So I also mentioned that we offer a lot of great educational classes through the Area Agency on Aging 1B, as well as other community organizations. So some of these programs that I have listed here are offered by healthcare systems and other community venues. So we're not the only organizations that offer these things. They're widely available across the state of Michigan and across the United States of America. And there's a lot of other great programs as well that are all evidence-based programs.
And I'd like to interject here if I could. The personal action towards health down here, the third one down, that's the one that got me back rocking and rolling, got me back interested in life again. It's fixed my mind, as a matter of fact. Diabetes path, which I also teach, got me on the track for healthy eating and making sure you're exercising. And when you're exercising, they're push paths. This is my active motion, my passive motion. I gotta pull it, so I still get a little bit more function in my hand than most people with stroke survivors, because I stretch it out to where it doesn't hurt anymore. And chronic pain path allows me this tickling sensation on my left side of my body is omnipresent, but allows me to distract myself and be focused on something else that doesn't even become an issue in my life anymore. So these programs they're transformational classes that change the trajectory of your life and put you on the path to wellness. Yeah. And evidence-based, and they're federally funding me. That doesn't matter which party, they both fund this program year after year since I've been teaching it. So it's important. And another reason they fund Better Balance is because they want to keep out of the house. It costs a lot to Medicare, billions. So they want to save that money, let you age at home. So enough, I'm off my soapbox.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, so these programs are no cost. They're held in community venues throughout our 6 counties that we serve, but like I said, they're offered across the United States by different organizations. And they're evidence-based, so you know that they work. They've had great outcomes, and they're small group setting classes led by leaders who have been thoroughly trained through our agency. So if you do have some questions, if you'd like to sign up for a class, again, our fall prevention specific program is called A Matter of Balance, Managing Concerns About Falls. And that's an 8-week program which meets once per week for 2 hours each week. So you can get some more information about our programming by calling our resource hotline or by email or visiting our website, which is www.aaa1b.org. And we have a complete list of upcoming classes on our website as well. And I have this information, I believe, on our next slide. So I would, I would like to go ahead and open it up for some questions if there are any. Okay, the question is, I've had balance issues for a long time and have been going to physical therapy over the last year and a half. I've also seen a neurologist because nothing has worked to help me become more stable. Would you have any other avenues that I could pursue? Well, I think that's a good start that you've been going to therapy and working with your healthcare team. I might recommend joining one of those workshops, A Matter of Balance. It's a great program because we introduce some very simple and effective exercises that over time can really help a person with stability and balance and flexibility. And so we do some of those exercises in that 8-week program. Pat, anything else that you'd like to share for this question?
Well, the class also offered virtually too, so they do chair exercise. So, start at the basics, start where you're at now, and it's going to take some time. I'm sure they discuss this with you with the physical therapy too. They probably give you exercises at home. So just wish you well with it and keep plugging away.
I'm interested in vertical ratcheting grab bars.
Okay, I have, Dale, I'll send you the link. I bought it from Amazon, and I can send the link and you can put it on the NCRO website.
Fair enough. Thank you, Casey.
Okay.
I'll also add it to the video when we
one caution I would say, if you happen to buy them, make sure the upper end of the grab bar is to the joist and not only to the drywall of the ceiling. Otherwise it will go through the drywall and damage the drywall. So you may have to have a stud finder and make sure it is just underneath the joist in the roof area.
That sounds like the voice of experience.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's, other than some compliments that are out there from folks on the webinar, that's the extent of questions that people sent in. Let's hang on a couple minutes. If on the webinar you have a question, just type your question into the box that's labeled questions and send it to me, and I'll get it up to our presenters for them to respond to it. And we'll give you a minute or two. We're still well before our full length hour. And if any of the presenters have anything else they want to add, feel free. We can always fill air.
I'm always concerned we do these workshops. We don't get a lot of men participating in the workshops. Just like my wife had to, I was the head of the household. I wasn't going to go, but the neck of the household puts the head where it's going to be, and she drugged me to the class. And they said a lot of men think, well, it's all touchy-feely, like mindfulness and meditation and deep breathing. It's all touchy-feely. Well, guess what, guys? Don't you want to touch and feel it until you're 800 years old? I mean, there's lots of reasons to be active and enjoy life. So please consider taking these workshops.
The question is, are grab bars that use suction as attachment safe to use?
I think it is. I've heard conflicting information on this. I think it's safer to have them installed, and so that's why those home injury control programs in the community are great, because they will come in and do that for you. If you're not able to do the drilling in the work, they will help you with that. Not that those suction ones are necessarily bad, but when they're installed properly, they're going to last a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Talking from my personal experience, I tried that and they work for a while, but at the unexpected time, they may not have the proper suction or something, and you could, try to grab them and you could fall or injure it. So it's better to have something, very mechanical, attached with the screws and everything through the stud, or it's difficult to break the bathroom tiles or something to attach it. But I think there are some, some new devices you can find with very powerful adhesives also now. So I think I would rely more than suction alone.
I would agree with that. And especially if the surface you're trying to apply the suction to is not perfectly smooth.
Correct.
I think this is a great question.
At what point should an older man stop climbing ladders?
As soon as you can afford somebody to climb them for you.
That's excellent.
I like that. Good answer, Pat.
This is just a general comment, but as you said, there's area agencies or similar types of groups all across the country.
Yep. Sometimes they're referred to as like the Council on Aging or something to that effect. But generally, when I get calls from people who are outside of my region or outside of the state, doing a Google search of area agency on aging in that county that they live in, I can usually find the appropriate organization to contact. So.
And if anybody has questions that are on the webinar, feel free to drop the NCRO a note. We'll try and get you the answers for what you need in that regard. I believe the email we use is inscom@ncro.org. And that's out there on our website also, ncro.org. I think we may be at the end of our question. Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, somebody's asking about the slides, and I'll make sure those get out.
When you have the slides, one that shows the strength, endurance, flexibility, and balance, that website there's lots of information. They teach you stuff like the goose walk, the big walk they call it, where you look like a Korean soldier, where you pump those legs up, and you turn to the left, turn the salute, the premier. So, that's great for balance. Walking backwards is great for balance. And there's all kinds of tips and hints that you get from there, and they'll send you a free book for exercises. Also, please note Medicare and you get this every year. You're entitled to a balance assessment. It's on page 42 for 2023, and we're all entitled to a balance assessment. So ask your primary care physician. So it could be inner hearing. There's lots of reasons you should take that balance assessment.
And to answer the last question, yes, the presentation would be out on the website, as well as, when I get it done, a video of this event. So let's see one more time. Can you please post, just a second, I'm going to copy it and paste it into my slides here. Sorry for the pause. These posts. Oh, okay. I'll make sure two things. I'll make sure that's out on the website. I'll save you time, Jeannie. And it's in the presentation in the PDF file that we send, so you should be able to just click on that. And I apologize, I didn't correct the spelling error. I do that all the time. I'm dyslexic. So unless someone has anything else, and again, if you do have more questions, don't hesitate to drop us an email, or you can reach out to our spokespersons here. I think we've got their emails. I think we're on one of the slides, or again, just send it to the NCRO and we'll get back to you. we kind of pride ourselves in trying to answer questions if we can. And as one of my old bosses or somebody along the line taught me, the only bad question is the one you don't ask. So never be afraid to ask questions. And with that, I want to thank both our speakers and KC. Excellent, excellent information. And I think this is going to be a popular video for us. So much appreciated. Great job.
Yes, thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. So with that, I'm going to end the webinar. So everyone have a great day. And above all, two things: stay safe and have fun. With that,
Thank you.
bye for now.